Hi, today we're going to talk about 6 ways that you can tell you're in ketosis without using those urine strips or blood sampling. And so while I don't have a problem with those strips, either testing your urine or testing your blood for ketones, there are definitely, once I go through this list, if you've been on the keto diet for at least 3 days, you're going to see yourself here. There are definitely symptoms that come that you can tell you're in ketosis. So this is something that we go through in our keto family class, which I'll talk about in a second, but for right now, let's get to the tips. First one, this one's not gross, is following a meal plan. If you have followed a meal plan, I have one in my keto family class. I have a few actually in my keto family class that will get you well under 20 grams of carbs a day. And so if you are eating less than 20 grams of carbs a day, and for most people, if you're eating less than 30 grams of carbs a day, you're going to be in ketosis. And so that's the first way to tell you're in ketosis. If you've done 3 days of eating less than 20 or 30 grams of carbohydrates a day, or you've done a 24-hour fast, you're going to be in ketosis. That's our first thing. Our second is that our carb cravings have slowed. And so when we're in ketosis, our body just isn't going to have that pull towards carbs. It's not to say, like, I still know that ice cream's delicious. I still know I like French fries. But when I was a swimmer and I was eating a super carb heavy diet, I was just on that blood roller coaster. It was like I would be swimming, I would be going to bed at night thinking about the next carbs I could eat. So that will not completely go away usually until you're fat adapted, which we'll talk about in another video. But when you're in ketosis, you're definitely going to have a lot less carb cravings. And so that's your second symptom, saying that you are in ketosis. The third is mental clarity. And this is something that once I'm told you it and you can look for it, you might notice that the little bit of brain fog or forgetfulness has gone away. And so it's not going to be completely like we're still human, but mental stuff, mental clarity and memory boosting is something that I have noticed a lot once I knew to look for it. And this summer, we like to travel, and so road trips are kind of our thing. And I have always had the hardest time remembering my stupid room number, especially if I stay in the same hotel over and over and it's a different room number, like I'll completely forget it. But this summer, this is where it was really apparent to me. I'd been on keto for like 6 months, and the memory thing, instead of having to like write down my room number and then like take a picture of it with my phone, so I had it with me with my phone, and then sometimes even still going to the front desk and being like, this is my name, can you tell me what room I'm in? I just remembered it was 3:35, and I remembered that the whole time. I still remember it, and it's like 3 months later. And so just having that little extra memory, not walking into the other room, forgetting why we went there, is a sign that you are in ketosis. And this has definitely been shown in medical literature as well, is the memory benefits. And it's a reason that I did this for my daughter with special needs, and I've definitely seen it with her as well. Working memory improved a lot in ketosis. But for the rest of us that don't have special needs, the extra memory is always helpful. And then the fourth is the general sense of well-being. And so for me, this is like, that's actually how it's referred to in medical literature, is general sense of well-being is something that comes to ketosis. You just feel good. And whether this is a little bit of mild, like low-grade depression, anxiety lifting, or it's just, you just feel a little bit more energized, a little bit more excited about the day, that's another sign that you are in ketosis. Number 5 is appetite suppression, and a lot of this is getting off that blood sugar roller coaster so that you're not having those extreme hunger highs and lows as you go through the day. And this is also because if we're already burning fat, our body is in fat burning mode, and most of us, unless we are starving, have a very ample supply of fat, even if we're at a normal body weight. And so our body, instead of being like, oh, you need to give me carbs so I can keep going, your body is getting energy and it's getting all the stuff it needs from fat. And so it can just tap right into our natural resources. We all have subcutaneous fat, a little bit of fat around our organs that it can tap into, and then the next time we eat, it can just put some back if it needs to put that back. And then that's number 5, is appetite suppression is another sign that you are in ketosis, is you're just not as hungry, as like preoccupied with your next meal as you were when you were a carb burner. And then this is the last one, is number 6, is that your urine, breath, or sweat stink. And this will usually go away as you become fat adapted. When we first start using ketones, especially if we're like older and we've never been in fat burning mode, our body sort of like flips out and says, oh, we need to make tons and tons and tons of ketones. And so it just doesn't really know what it's doing. And a byproduct of the ketone making is something, it's either similar or it is formaldehyde. It's something that we have to get rid of. It's a waste product. And so your body will get rid of it. And it will get rid of it through sweat, through your breath. Like you can actually exchange during the process where we're turning oxygen into carbon dioxide, we can get rid of this particular byproduct of making ketones as well. Or if we're well enough hydrated, it'll just go into our urine, and that's where like that cat pee urine smells. It's just kind of rank, and it will calm down once you're fat adapted, which we'll talk about in another video. But that's another sign that you're in ketosis. And so if you find that you're having to put deodorant on every couple hours, or your breath, like no matter how much you brush, because it has to do with your lungs, it has nothing to do with your teeth, is still just like funky, and you've kind of got like a funky taste in the back of your mouth, push the water and make sure your electrolytes are okay as well. And you can probably just get it to divert down into your urine, and then it will flush in the toilet and everything will be fine. But having stinky breath, sweat, or urine is another sign that you are in ketosis. But I'd love to have you come back, so if you want to click subscribe, I would love that. We're going to keep talking about signs that you're in ketosis. I'm going to tell you about like the urine and blood testing for ketones, why I don't necessarily recommend them. You can do it if you want, it's not going to hurt you. And then we're going to talk about being fat adapted in another upcoming video as well. So I'd love to have you here. I'm Kara from Health, Home, and Happiness. Thanks so much.